Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the amazing world of rare and valuable coins that could be hiding right in your pocket. If you love collecting coins, learning about history, or simply enjoy discovering treasures that most people overlook, then you're going to love today's video. How much they're worth in today's market, and what you need to know to sell them successfully at auction. So let's get started. First up, the 1911 Abraham Lincoln. Wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those classic coins that every collector loves to talk about. It carries the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the two iconic wheat stalks on the back, symbols of America's rich history and early 20th century craftsmanship. This penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why there is no mint mark under the date. It belongs to the long-running Lincoln Wheat Cent series that started in 1909 and continued until 1958. The 1911 penny was made from the traditional bronze alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that warm reddish-brown color collectors know so well. Even though more than 100 million of these coins were minted in Philadelphia that year, they have still become popular among collectors because they are part of the early years of the Lincoln Cent. Most examples you find today have been well circulated, showing the marks of more than a century of handling, but they still carry strong historical and sentimental value. The coin's obverse shows the famous side profile of President Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse reads 1 cent and United States of America with two wheat ears curving along each side. Those wheat stalks gave the series its nickname, the Wheat Penny. When talking about condition, the term good is a very specific grade in coin collecting. A 1911 penny in good condition has seen heavy circulation and wear. Lincoln's bust and facial details are worn smooth, but his outline is still visible. The date 1911 is clear, though perhaps faint in spots, and the lettering around the rim can still be read. On the reverse, the two wheat stalks are mostly flattened, with only outlines remaining, yet the words 1 cent and United States of America are fully readable. This level of wear shows that the coin has truly done its job in circulation for decades before being pulled out by someone who recognized its age. Even in this modest grade, the 1911 Lincoln penny remains collectible. As of today's market in 2025, an average example of the 1911 Philadelphia issue in good condition generally sells between about $2 and $8, depending on the coin's color, surface quality, and overall eye appeal. Coins that show strong details for their grade and have pleasant natural brown or red tones tend to bring prices near the upper end of that range. Coins that are dark, discolored, or have rim damage are closer to the lower end. Dealers and collectors often trade them at local coin shops, online auctions, or through platforms like eBay, where actual sale prices can vary slightly week to week depending on demand. The true excitement comes when a coin survives in higher condition. Well-preserved examples graded extremely fine or about uncirculated can easily sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars. Once you reach the fully uncirculated mint state levels, where the original luster still shines and not a single detail has worn away, values can soar. Certified examples graded by PCGS or NGC in top mint state red condition have sold for several $1,000s, and the most pristine pieces have fetched over $10,000 at auction. These numbers highlight how much condition can change a coin's worth. Even when it's the same date and mint, collectors love the 1911 penny not only for its potential value, but also for what it represents. It was struck just a couple of years after the first Lincoln Cent appeared, marking the beginning of modern American coin design. It's also one of the last early issues before the change in style and metal composition during later decades. Owning one feels like holding a small piece of the nation's past in your hand. If you happen to find a 1911 Lincoln penny in your collection or pocket change, there are a few things to keep in mind. Never try to clean it, even if it looks dull or dirty. Cleaning can scratch the surface and immediately lower its value. Instead, gently store it in a dry holder or plastic flip to protect it from further wear. Take clear photos under good lighting to show its details if you plan to sell it or get it graded. Comparing your coin with images of graded examples online can help you estimate its true grade. If your penny seems sharper or more detailed than most examples you see, it might be worth sending to a professional grading service. Certified coins almost always sell for higher prices because collectors trust their authenticity and grade. Next up, the 1966 USA silver-colored Washington quarter-dollar coin without a mint mark is an interesting piece that reflects a major transition period in American coinage. Although it appears silver, this coin does not contain any actual silver content. Beginning in 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped using 90% silver in circulating quarters and switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition due to rising silver prices. Your 1966 quarter, therefore, is made of a copper core layered between two outer surfaces of copper-nickel alloy, giving it the same silver-like appearance as its earlier counterparts, but without the intrinsic metal value. The absence of a mint mark means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use mint marks on quarters during this time. Your coin is described as being in good condition with some scratches. In numismatic terms, good condition generally means the coin has heavy wear, with major details worn smooth, but the main design still identifiable. On your 1966 quarter, you might notice Washington's hair and face are quite worn down, and the eagle's feathers on the reverse side appear flat or faint. The scratches mentioned are typical for circulated coins, often caused by contact with other coins in pockets, drawers, or counting machines over the years. While such marks reduce collector value slightly, they do not erase the historical significance of the coin. The 1966 Washington quarter had an extremely high mintage. Over 821 million pieces were produced at the Philadelphia Mint alone. Because of this large number, the coin is not considered rare or scarce in circulation today. In the current auction market, a 1966 Washington quarter in good condition with some scratches typically sells for around $0.25. Its face value to about 0.70. Banners. Coins in better grades, such as very fine or extremely fine condition, can sometimes sell for $1 to $2, while uncirculated examples with full luster and minimal marks may reach $5 to $10. Coins graded in mint state, MS65 or higher, by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can occasionally bring $20 or more, especially if they exhibit strong eye appeal or sharp details. There are, however, some special varieties and minting errors from the mid-1960s that collectors seek, and these can significantly increase the coin's value. During 1965-1967, the U.S. Mint did not use mint marks on any coins to discourage coin hoarding caused by the shift away from silver. This period also saw several experimental and transitional errors. One of the most famous types is the 1965-1966 quarter struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet from 1964. If a 1966 quarter were found to be made of silver instead of the standard copper-nickel clad, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Additionally, minting errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on defective planchets can sell from $25 $5 up to several $100s, depending on rarity and condition. If you want to check whether your 1966 quarter might be a silver error coin, a simple test is to weigh it. A regular clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a genuine 90% silver quarter weighs approximately 6.25 grams. Using a precise scale can help determine if your coin might be a rare silver planchet strike, in which case professional authentication by PCGS or NGC would be essential before selling. Even if your coin doesn't have an error, It still tells a fascinating story about America's economy and coin production in the 1960s. The decision to remove silver from coins marked a new chapter in U.S. monetary policy, one that reflected the balance between metal value and purchasing power. Each 1966 quarter represents this transition, a bridge between the silver era and modern coinage. If you plan to auction your coin, honesty and presentation are key. Take clear, close-up photos of both sides, showing the details and the absence of a mint mark. Describe it accurately as a 1966 Washington quarter, Philadelphia mint, in good condition with some scratches. List it on popular coin auction platforms such as eBay, heritage auctions, or great collections, where collectors often look for affordable coins to complete their Washington quarter sets. Even though it may sell for only 0.25 to $1, the coin's historical context can make it appealing to enthusiasts who appreciate its place in the evolution of U.S. currency. Next up, the 1941 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with an S mint mark is an interesting and collectible coin that comes from an era when America was on the brink of World War II. The S below the date stands for the San Francisco Mint, one of the 3 U.S. mints producing coins that year, along with Philadelphia and Denver. This coin belongs to the beloved Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which ran from 1909 through 1958 and featured Victor David Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic wheat ears on the reverse. Made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, this cent carries that familiar reddish-brown hue that has become iconic among collectors. In 1941, the San Francisco Mint struck over 92 million of these coins, making them not extremely rare but still sought after, especially in higher grades. The obverse design shows Lincoln facing right with the word Liberty to his left and the year 1941 S clearly under his shoulder. On the reverse, the coin proudly displays 1 cent and United States of America, surrounded by 2 stylized wheat stalks curving upward from the bottom. This design reflects the strength and hope of the nation during a challenging period in history. Your coin is described as being in extra fine condition, which is quite a nice grade for a wheat penny that has circulated. In numismatic terms, extra fine, often abbreviated XF or EF, means the coin has light wear on the highest points of Lincoln's cheek, jaw, and hair, but most of the finer details remain visible. On the reverse, you can still see clear lines in the wheat stalks, and the lettering is sharp and bold. A few small scratches are normal for a coin of this age, and typically don't have a huge impact on value unless they're deep or distracting. Overall, an XF example still shows strong eye appeal and plenty of original character. As of today's coin market in 2025, the 1941 S Lincoln Wheat penny in extra fine condition generally sells in the range of about 0.755 to 2.50 USD, depending on color tone, surface preservation, and current collector demand. A coin with minor scratches, as you mentioned, would likely fall toward the lower end of that range, closer to $1, while cleaner, well-preserved examples with attractive natural brown or red color can bring $2 or slightly more. These values come from recent online sales and reputable coin price guides that track what collectors actually pay in today's marketplace. If a coin like this shows stronger detail or even traces of original luster, it can approach the about uncirculated range, where values climb toward $4 to $6. Fully uncirculated or certified red examples can sell for much more, sometimes $20 to $50, and top-graded mint state coins have achieved well over $100 to $200 USD at major auctions. The difference shows how much condition and presentation affect what collectors are willing to pay for the very same date and mint. Collectors appreciate the 1941 S penny, not only for its condition potential but also for its place in history. It was produced just before the U.S. entered World War II, making it one of the last Lincoln cents struck entirely in bronze before wartime metal shortages led to composition changes in 1943. For that reason, even common dates from the early 1940s hold special nostalgia for many hobbyists. If you plan to keep your 1941 S penny, the best approach is to store it properly. Place it in a dry plastic flip, small coin holder, or album slot to prevent further scratches or corrosion. Avoid cleaning it, because any attempt to polish or shine the surface will remove original metal and reduce its value. Collectors always prefer a coin with its natural color and patina, even if it shows light wear. Next up, the 1979 USA silver-colored Washington quarter-dollar coin with the P mint mark is a striking example of late 20th century American coinage. Although it appears silver, this coin is not made from real silver. By 1979, the U.S. Mint had long since transitioned to the copper-nickel-clad composition, which had been introduced in 1965. The outer layers are made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. This composition gives the coin its bright, silvery color while maintaining durability for daily circulation. The P mint mark, located just to the right of George Washington's ponytail on the obverse side, indicates that the coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Your coin is described as being in extra fine condition with some scratches. In numismatic grading, extra fine, often abbreviated as XF or EF, means the coin shows only light wear on the highest points, with most details remaining sharp and distinct. On your 1979 P quarter, Washington's hairline details and facial features should still be clearly visible, with only slight smoothness on the cheek and jaw. The eagle's wings, feathers, and arrows on the reverse will also show solid definition. The few scratches you mentioned are normal for a circulated coin and do not drastically affect its appeal unless they are deep or disfiguring. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 515 million tie-de-use Washington quarters in 1979, so this coin is not considered rare. Because of the large mintage and the lack of silver content, most 1979 P quarters in circulated grades hold modest value. In today's auction market, a 1979 P Washington quarter in extra fine condition with some scratches generally sells for around $0.25 to $1. Coins in slightly higher grades, such as about uncirculated or low mint state, may reach $2 to $3. Fully uncirculated examples with bright luster and no noticeable marks can fetch between $5 and $15, depending on eye appeal and strike quality. Professional-graded mint state, MS-65 or higher, coins sometimes sell for $20 to $50 or more at coin shows or online auctions if they exhibit exceptional surfaces. However, certain rare minting errors can significantly increase the value of a 1979 P quarter. Collectors are particularly interested in varieties such as double-die obverse coins, where letters or details appear doubled, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong metal planchet. These minting mistakes are highly collectible and can sell for $25 to several $100s, depending on the clarity and uniqueness of the error. For example, a 1979 P quarter struck off-center or with a partial missing rim can easily attract attention from serious collectors. It's always wise to inspect your coin carefully under magnification, or show it to a coin expert to see if any unusual features are present. The 1979 Mainpointeurs 79 P quarter also holds historical value beyond its face worth. This was a time of economic fluctuation in the U.S., and the coin represents a period when everyday change began to shift away from precious metals toward modern clad compositions. For collectors, it's an important part of the Washington Quarter series, which ran with the eagle reverse design from 1932 until 1998, before being replaced by the 50-state quarters program in 1999. Even though your coin shows some scratches, The extra fine grade means it retains plenty of visual appeal. The luster might be partially visible in protected areas of the design, such as around Washington's hair or the eagle's body. Many collectors appreciate this level of preservation because it shows both age and character, proving that the coin circulated but was well cared for over time. If you plan to sell your coin, presentation matters. Take clear, close-up photos of both sides, showing the P mint mark and date clearly. When listing it for sale, describe it honestly as a 1979 P Washington quarter, extra fine condition, with minor scratches. Buyers looking to fill a slot in their quarter album or build a date and mint set often look for coins in this exact condition. You can list your coin on auction platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, or great collections, where everyday coins with solid details still attract steady interest. Next up, the 1938 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a D mint mark is another fascinating piece of American coinage history. The D under the date indicates that this coin was minted at the Denver Mint in Colorado. It belongs to the long-running Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which began in 1909 and continued until 1958, featuring Victor David Brenner's portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the two wheat stalks on the reverse. The 1938 D penny was struck from the classic bronze alloy made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that traditional reddish-brown color that many collectors admire. In 1938, the Denver Mint produced just over 20 million Lincoln cents. While that may sound like a lot, it was actually a relatively low mintage compared to other years in the wheat penny series. Because of that, the 1938 D is considered slightly scarcer than some of its neighboring dates, especially in higher grades. The obverse of the coin displays Lincoln's familiar right-facing portrait, with the word Liberty to his left, and the date 1938 D clearly visible below his shoulder. The reverse features the classic design with 1 cent and United States of America at the center, framed by two wheat ears curving upward from the bottom, symbols of prosperity and agricultural heritage. Your coin is described as being in fine condition, which numismatically means it has moderate wear but still retains solid detail. In this grade, Lincoln's facial features, hair, and coat outline remain clear, although most of the finer lines are worn smooth. On the reverse, the lettering is still sharp, and both wheat stalks are clearly visible, though missing some of the inner line details. Fine-grade coins often show light surface marks and scratches from circulation, which is completely normal for a coin that's more than 85 years old. These light scratches usually don't affect the coin's basic value unless they are deep or heavy. As of the 2025 coin market, a 1938 D Lincoln wheat penny in fine condition typically sells for around $0.50 to $1.50 USD. Coins with nice natural brown or reddish tones and minimal damage tend to bring prices near the higher end of that range, while coins with noticeable scratches or dark discoloration usually sell for closer to 50 cents. These price ranges reflect current market values based on sales from online platforms, coin dealers, and recent price guide data. If your coin happened to be in higher condition, say, very fine or extremely fine, it might be worth between $2 and $4. Coins in uncirculated or mint state grades with bright original color and strong luster can sell for much more, often $15 to $40, depending on their certified grade. The most pristine examples, graded MS-66 or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC, have sold for well over $100, showing how much condition impacts a coin's desirability. Collectors often enjoy the 1938 D penny because it marks a transitional time in U.S. coin production before the outbreak of World War II. It was one of the last pre-war issues struck entirely in bronze, and many survived in circulation for decades. Finding one in fine condition today means it has seen real use, but has still survived in collectible shape. something that appeals to both beginner and experienced collectors alike. If you plan to keep the coin, remember never to clean it. Even a gentle cleaning can leave micro-scratches and strip away the natural patina that collectors value. Instead, store it in a small coin holder, plastic flip, or an album designed for pennies to protect it from further wear. If you want to estimate its grade more precisely, compare it to online images or grading charts from PCGS or NGC. A side-by-side look can help you determine whether your coin might fall slightly above or below the fine range. Next up, the 1982 USA silver-colored Washington $quarter coin with the D mint mark is a classic and well-recognized coin among collectors of modern U.S. currency. Despite its bright, silvery appearance, this coin does not actually contain silver. By 1982, the U.S. Mint had been producing quarters in a copper-nickel-clad composition for nearly 2 decades. This means the coin is made with a pure copper core sandwiched between 2 layers of copper-nickel alloy, giving it a durable, silver-like shine. The D mint mark, located just to the right of George Washington's ponytail on the obverse side, indicates that your coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Your coin is described as being in very fine condition with some scratches. In numismatic terms, very fine VF condition means the coin has moderate wear, but still retains most of its design details. For a 1982 D Washington quarter in this grade, you can expect to see clear outlines of Washington's facial features and hair, though some of the finer lines may appear smoothed. The eagle on the reverse side will show noticeable wear on the feathers and wings, but most details remain visible. The minor scratches you mentioned are typical for coins that have circulated for many years and usually don't affect the overall collectability, unless they are deep or distracting. The year 1982 was notable for a few changes in U.S. coin production. That year, the Mint stopped producing uncirculated coin sets for collectors, which means that most 1982 22 quarters found today were circulated. Because of this, finding well-preserved, uncirculated examples can be more challenging compared to other dates from the same era. The 1982 D Washington quarter had a large mintage of approximately 480 million coins, so it is not considered rare. However, its historical context and limited collector sets make it more interesting to numismatists. In today's auction market, 1982 Washington quarter in very fine condition with some scratches generally sells for around $0 CT 25 to $1. Coins in better condition, such as extremely fine, XF or about, uncirculated AU may bring $2 to $3, while uncirculated examples with strong mint luster can sell for $5 to $15. Professionally graded mint state examples, MS65 or higher, by services like PCGS or NGC sometimes sell for $25 to $50 or more, especially if the coin shows strong details and minimal marks. While most 1982 D quarters are common, there are certain varieties and minting errors that can make one much more valuable. Collectors actively look for doubled die obverse or reverse varieties, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet, for example, on a 5-cent or foreign coin blank. An off-center strike or double die error can sell for $25 to several $100s, depending on the visibility and rarity of the mistake. Coins struck on experimental or leftover silver planchets, although extremely rare, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, if verified by a professional grading service. To check for potential errors or varieties, you can examine your coin closely under magnification. Look for signs of doubling in the lettering or design, or any irregularities around the edges. If anything looks unusual, consider consulting a reputable coin dealer or sending the coin to a professional grading service for authentication. Even though your coin is not made of real silver, and may have some wear and scratches, it still carries a story that connects it to American history. The 1982 Washington Quarter represents a time of economic transition and modernization in U.S. minting. The design of George Washington, unaltered for decades, symbolizes continuity and patriotism through changing times. If you plan to sell your 1982 D quarter, presentation matters. Take clear, close-up photographs of both sides, showing the D mint mark and year. Describe it accurately as 1982 D Washington Quarter, very fine condition, with some scratches. Honest descriptions help attract genuine collectors who appreciate accuracy and transparency. You can list it on auction platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, or great collections, where even circulated coins in decent condition often find buyers looking to complete date and mint sets. Next up, the 1941 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is one of the classic coins that many collectors first discover when starting their collections. The absence of a mint mark below the date indicates that the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which at that time did not use a mint mark. This coin belongs to the Lincoln Wheat Cent series that ran from 1909 to 1958, featuring Victor David Brenner's beautiful design of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the two wheat ears on the reverse. It was struck from the standard bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that warm, reddish-brown tone so familiar to coin collectors. In 1941, the Philadelphia Mint struck more than 887 million Lincoln cents, making this one of the most common dates in the entire wheat penny series. Even so, these coins hold an important place in numismatic history because they were produced during a critical time, just before the United States entered World Wars. The obverse shows Lincoln's portrait, facing right with the word liberty to his left, and the date, 1941, on the right side. The reverse bears the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, surrounded by two stylized wheat stalks, along with the motto, E pluribus unum, above. Your coin is described as being in good condition, which is one of the lower but still collectible grades on the numismatic scale. A coin in good condition has seen heavy circulation and wear over the decades. On your 1941 penny, the main details of Lincoln's face, hair, and coat are smooth and flat, but the outline of his figure and the date remain visible. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" can still be read, though perhaps faint in spots. On the reverse, the wheat stalks are worn down with only their outer outlines showing, but the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America are still readable. Some light scratches, as you mentioned, are typical for coins that have circulated for more than 80 years and usually do not significantly reduce the basic value. As of the 2025 C5 coin market, a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in good condition typically sells for around $0.10 to $0.25 USD. These coins are common in this grade because of their huge mintage and long time in circulation. A coin with small scratches or dull toning would likely be valued near the lower end of that range, while one with a smoother surface and more even brown color might be closer to $0.25 in value. Because they are so common, many collectors enjoy using 1941 pennies to fill album spots or practice grading, and they are often sold in small groups or bulk rolls. However, even though the good grade 1941 penny isn't rare, its value can rise noticeably in better condition. In very fine or extremely fine condition, examples typically sell for $0.50 brutal to $1.50, and in uncirculated or mint state condition, they can range from $2 up to $15 or more. Bright, original red-colored, uncirculated examples certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC have even sold for $50 to $100 USD or higher in top grades. These numbers show how dramatically grade affects the price of the same date and mint issue. Collectors continue to appreciate the 1941 penny because it marks the last period before America's wartime coinage changes. Just 2 years later, in 1943, the composition was switched to zinc-coated steel due to copper shortages. That historical connection makes pre-war bronze cents like the 1941 issue more meaningful to own. It's also a fun date to find in circulation today, especially since many examples still turn up in old jars, inherited collections, and antique boxes. First up, the 1980 USA silver-colored Washington quarter-dollar coin with the P mint mark is a fascinating and nostalgic piece for coin collectors and history enthusiasts. While it looks like a silver coin, it's important to remember that quarters minted after 1964 were no longer struck in real silver. Instead, they were made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, consisting of a pure copper core sandwiched between two layers of copper-nickel alloy. The silver-like shine comes from the nickel surface, which gives the coin its bright metallic appearance. The P mint mark, located to the right of George Washington's ponytail on the obverse side, represents the Philadelphia Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of these coins in 1980. On the front of this 1980 quarter, you'll find the classic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. Above his head is the word Liberty, and to the left appears the motto, "In God We Trust." The year 1980 is engraved just below Washington's bust. The reverse side features a beautifully detailed American bald eagle with wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows in its talons, symbolizing the country's readiness to defend its freedom. Below the eagle are olive branches, representing peace. The inscriptions, United States of America, a pluribus unum, and quarter-dollar frame the eagle, giving the coin a balanced and proud design that has stood the test of time. Your coin is described as being in dirty condition with some scratches. This means it has likely circulated for many years, collecting dirt and small abrasions along the way. In numismatic terms, this condition typically falls under the fine or very good category, depending on the level of wear. Coins in fine condition show noticeable wear on high points, but most design details are still visible. For your 1980 P quarter, this might mean that Washington's hairlines and the eagle's feathers appear smooth or flattened, and the fields of the coin, the flat areas, have small marks or dullness from handling and friction. While this condition doesn't make the coin rare, it still holds a special place in a collection because of its historical context and vintage look. The 1980 P Washington quarter had a large mintage of over 635 million coins, making it one of the more common dates from the series. Because of this high production and the absence of silver content, its base value in the collector's market remains close to its face value. In today's auction market, a 1980 P quarter in dirty, fine condition with scratches typically sells for around $0. Fines, second T5, sedint, setinan facim to now setting 5. Coins that are cleaned or polished generally do not increase in value, since collectors prefer original surfaces, even if they appear dull or aged. However, uncirculated or mint-state examples, those that have never been used in everyday transactions, can sell for anywhere between $3 and $25, depending on their grade. Luster and eye appeal. Rare minting errors, however, can dramatically increase the value of a 1980 P Washington quarter. Collectors seek out coins with doubled die errors, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or those accidentally struck on a different metal plancher. A double die variety will show a noticeable doubling of letters, numbers, or details of Washington's portrait. Off-center or broad-struck coins have uneven rims or missing parts of the design due to misalignment during minting. These types of errors can sell for anywhere from $20 to several $100s, depending on the type and prominence of the mistake. It's always worth examining your coin carefully or consulting a numismatic expert to check for such details. Even though your 1980p Washington quarter in dirty condition may not have high monetary value, it still carries meaningful historical significance. The 1980s marked a period when U.S. coinage reflected the country's economic stability and consistent minting standards. Philadelphia's use of the P mint mark on quarters began just a year earlier, in 1980, making your coin among the first regular-issue quarters from that mint to bear this identifying mark. That fact alone gives the coin a small but interesting place in American coin history. For collectors, the story behind each coin adds to its charm. The wear, scratches, and even the dirt on your coin are physical reminders of its long journey through decades of transactions, perhaps spent on everyday items like groceries or gasoline during the 1980s, a time of significant economic and cultural change in the United States. Next up, the 1958 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark is a meaningful coin because it represents the final year of the beloved wheat cent design before the U.S. Mint switched to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. The absence of a mint mark indicates that this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Like all wheat pennies, it features Victor David Brenner's famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and America's agricultural roots. The 1958 Lincoln penny was struck from the classic bronze alloy composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which gives the coin its familiar warm reddish-brown tone. Over the decades, these coins naturally darken into a rich brown shade due to oxidation and aging, which is perfectly normal and even preferred by many collectors. A coin with a consistent brown color and even surface appearance is considered attractive for its age. The Philadelphia Mint produced an impressive 252 million Lincoln Wheat pennies in 1958, making this a very common issue. However, being the last year of the Wheat Penny series, it holds sentimental value among collectors. Many people like to keep this coin as a symbolic end-of-an-era piece, linking the classic wheat design with the modern memorial design that began in 1959. Your coin is described as being in fine condition, which means it has moderate circulation wear but still shows clear details. In this grade, Lincoln's outline, hair, and face are visible, though worn smooth in high areas such as the cheek and jaw. The lettering, date, and motto, "In God We Trust," remain legible. On the reverse, the two wheat stalks are clearly visible but lack much of their inner line detail. The inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America are bold and readable. Some small scratches, as you mentioned, are normal for circulated coins of this age and typically have only a minor effect on value unless they are very deep or distracting. As of today's market in 2025, a 1958 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition generally sells for around $0.10 to $0.20 USD. While the coin is quite common, its collectible appeal lies in the fact that it marks the final issue of the wheat design, making it a sentimental favorite among both new and experienced collectors. A coin with noticeable scratches or darker discoloration would be closer to 10 cents in value, while a nicer example with an even brown tone and minimal marks might sell for around 20 cents. If the coin were in higher grades, such as extremely fine or about uncirculated, the value could increase slightly to $0.25 to $0.50. In uncirculated or mint state condition, values range from $1 to $5, depending on color and surface quality. Certified examples graded in full red mint state condition by PCGS or NGC can sometimes sell for $15 to $40, and the highest graded specimens have even reached over $100 at auction. These premium prices show how dramatically condition can affect the value of the same date and mint mark. Collectors value the 1958 penny not for its rarity, but for its historical importance. It's the end of the wheat penny era that began in 1909, one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Owning one is like holding the final chapter of a numismatic story that spanned nearly half a century. If you decide to keep your 1958 penny, avoid cleaning it. Cleaning removes the natural patina and can make the coin appear unnaturally shiny, which lowers its collectible value. Instead, gently store it in a dry plastic holder, coin flip, or an album slot. Handle it only by the edges to prevent further scratches or fingerprints. While your 1958 wheat penny in fine condition isn't rare or highly valuable, it's still more than just a 1-cent coin. Its worth today is modest, around 10 to 20 cents, but it carries significant historical and sentimental value. Even with a few scratches and a brown shade, your coin is a genuine piece of American history, representing the last year of an iconic design and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln on U.S. coinage. Next up, the 1985 USA silver-colored Washington quarter-dollar coin with the D mint mark is a classic representation of late 20th century American coinage. Although it appears silver in color, this coin is not made of real silver. By 1985, U.S. quarters were struck from a copper-nickel-clad composition, an inner core of pure copper layered with an alloy of copper and nickel on both sides. This combination gives the coin its distinctive silvery appearance, while making it durable enough for everyday use. The D mint mark on your coin, found to the right of George Washington's ponytail, indicates that it was produced at the Denver Mint. Your coin is described as being in fine condition with some scratches. In coin grading terms, fine condition, often abbreviated as F, means the coin has moderate to heavy wear from circulation, but the main details of the design are still clearly visible. On your 1985 D quarter, Washington's portrait will show noticeable flattening on the hair and cheek, while the eagle's feathers on the reverse may appear smooth and less detailed. The scratches you mentioned are common on coins that have circulated for many years, usually caused by contact with other coins, pockets, or counting machines. Even with these marks, the coin still holds its collectible and historical value, especially when it's over 40 years old. The 1985 D Washington quarter had a very large mintage. Approximately 520 million coins were struck at the Denver Mint that year. Because of this high production number and the absence of silver content, it is considered a common coin. In today's auction market, a mid-1985 D quarter in fine condition with some scratches typically sells for around $0.25 to $1. Coins in better condition, such as very fine or extra fine grades, can sell for $1 to $3, while uncirculated examples with bright original luster may bring $5 to $15 depending on eye appeal. Professionally graded coins in Mint State 65, MS65, or higher can sometimes sell for $25 to $50 at auction, particularly if they display sharp details and minimal marks. While most 1985 D quarters are common, certain error varieties can be quite valuable. Collectors often look for rare minting mistakes such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or coins struck on the wrong metal plancher. A doubled die coin will show overlapping or shadowed details on the lettering or portrait, while an off-center strike will have part of the design missing or misaligned. These error coins can sell for $25 to several $100s, depending on the rarity and condition. Additionally, a few 1985 quarters have been found struck on experimental or foreign planchets, which can be worth hundreds or even thousands if authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, even though your 1985 D quarter, in fine condition, may not hold significant monetary value. It remains a meaningful part of the Washington Quarter series. The 1980s were a period of strong U.S. coin production, reflecting both technological progress at the Mint and the country's economic stability. The Washington design, used from 1932 until 1998, connects coins like yours to more than 6 decades of American history. Every circulated coin tells a small story of the people and times it passed through, perhaps used for a cup of coffee, a payphone call, or a parking meter in its day. For collectors, presentation and honesty in description are key when selling coins. If you choose to auction your 1985 D Washington quarter, take clear photographs of both sides, showing the D mint mark and the year clearly. Note that the coin is in fine condition with some scratches, and that it is a copper nickel-clad coin, not silver. Many collectors appreciate honest listings, especially when looking to fill specific date and mint slots in their quarter albums. You can sell your coin on popular platforms such as eBay, heritage auctions, or great collections. While it may sell for around 0.25 to $1, its real value lies in its place within American coinage history. It serves as a tangible reminder of a time when quarters were widely used in everyday transactions, before digital payments became common. In conclusion, your 1985 D Washington quarter in fine condition with some scratches typically holds a market value of about 0.9 2020 fee, out to 20.5 to $1 in today's auctions. Though not rare or made of silver, it remains a fascinating collectible that reflects the heritage of U.S. coin production and the enduring image of George Washington. Its design continues to symbolize liberty, strength, and national pride. Even with signs of wear, your coin stands as a small yet meaningful piece of American history. Proof that every coin, no matter how ordinary it may seem, carries a story worth remembering.